Hey there, I'm Sara Zarella, a portrait and wedding photographer and your host for Wedding Secrets Unveiled. This is a podcast where we cut through the complexity of wedding planning, leaving you with everything you need to know directly from the industry experts. If you want to simplify your wedding planning while having fun, of course, you came to the right place. Join me while I guide you through your planning, starting from your engagement to your big day where you say, I do. After photographing for the past 19 years, I am sharing with you tips and tricks to cut through the excess noise because I believe from the moment you said yes, your planning experience should be a magical time in your life. Here you will find episodes that are fun, stress-free, and straight to the point with a fresh, honest take on the reality of what you really need to know about planning your perfect day. Let's dive in. Welcome back to Wedding Secrets Unveiled podcast, friends. Today I'll be speaking with Christine Madese. She is the owner of Plant Girl Shop located in East Greenwich, Rhode Island. They specialize with retail but also floral designs for events. We will be giving some advice about how to hire the perfect florist for you, how to prepare to be at your first meeting with them. And we're also going to get into a little bit about what some new floral trends are happening out there, the shift with the floral trends, where it started and where it's going, along with how to make floral displays have the biggest impact at your event. So if you are looking to pick the right florist and you are trying to create a floral impact at your event, this is the podcast episode for you. Well, welcome back to Wedding Secrets Unveiled podcast, friends. I'm your host, Sara Zarella, and I'm excited to be sitting across the way with Christine.
Hello.
Hello, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Well, let's just tell everybody who you are and what you do and who you serve. Who are you?
Who am I? So I'm Christine Madese. I'm a florist here in Rhode Island, serving brides, anyone having an event. We love providing florals and decor for their event, occasion, wedding, anywhere in Rhode Island and beyond.
So how did you get into this? And how long have you been doing this?
Oh, my gosh, I know. So that's the fun story about me. I was in education for 20 years. I was a teacher, reading specialist, assistant principal, and then a principal for over 6 years locally, and went through COVID as a principal and left about like a year and a half ago. So it hasn't been that long in the florist world for me.
So wait, back up.
I know.
So how does one start as a principal and then get into floral design? That is a shift. That is a shift.
It is a huge shift.
I mean, come on, Christine. It's like, I'm a principal.
Yeah,
I'm going to be a florist.
So it first started, I should back up and go, I'm from a long line of artists. So my mother, my grandfather, and my brother are all amazing artists.
And so you heard creativity knocking on your door.
Yeah, definitely. And I think in the education world, if, people listening in that world are going to know it's not as creative as you would want it to be. Like, it's hard to bring that side of your brain to education coming from an administrator perspective.
And also, too, there's a lot of systems in place.
Oh, tons. Which is good. As you can see how, we can kind of get into that, how I bring that into my florist world and how I think that has really helped me grow and be successful in what I do now. But yeah, I wasn't able to really get that creative energy flowing that I wanted to in that world. And I started branching out into plants, hence the name Plant Girl Shop, and then flowers, and I just kind of let things happen for me, like just really putting my energy out there and saying, all right, where do we go next? And things just kind of came to be. And I just kind of embraced all of it. And that's how it happened.
And so for those listeners who are not from Rhode Island, we are a small state.
Yes.
We are always like 1 degree of separation.
100%.
And then for the listeners who are in Rhode Island, you know that this is so Rhode Island. So Christine's opened up her shop in our town that we both are in. And so it's a small town. I was born and raised there. And I have a lot of family still in there. So I've watched your shop because you're right. It started as a plant shop. And I would drive by and I'd see all these beautiful green plants.
Yeah.
And then my point is I saw you evolve.
Yeah.
And then, I saw that your name kept showing up at the events I was photographing. And so for us, we never see a lot of the designers, the installers, the plant, the cake people. We don't see, because by the time the photographer shows up, it's already installed.
Yeah.
But I mean, we know who we're working with. And I'm like, oh, plant shop. Like, they're right. Plant girl shop. I'm like, they're right down the road from me.
Yeah.
So it's been great.
It's a wild ride.
Yeah.
It's a fun, wild ride that I am so happy I took the leap and embraced.
Yeah.
It's just how things happen in your life and people, who you encounter and where you bring yourself, and it all happens for a reason.
Always does. And when it feels right, it means you're on the right course.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I just knew something wasn't right in my previous
or
career.
maybe your time has
or my time came to an end. Yeah,
came to an end.
I did what I needed to do and moving on. So
and here you
it's
are,
a great
because
story.
This is out of your comfort zone. I mean, who would have ever thunk you'd just be sitting here doing a podcast
about the new career?
Yes. So with that said, I just want to know, what do you love most about being a florist?
So many things. I will say one, like the calming, beautiful energy of doing flowers. Just it's peaceful, it's nature, it just brings a sense of calmness that I did not have previously to my world. But then also working with couples and event planners, that building relationships with them on a really special, happy day, celebrating their life, their love, family. It's so nice to be a part of that. So really holding my couples as like, oh, this is so nice to get to know them, to understand them, to see what they have, their vision for flowers, but also just as a couple. We love getting to know them and really becoming like, some of it just truly become part of my family that I stay in touch with long after they get married. So yeah, all of that just fulfills me and my team as far as in the floral world, floral design.
That really is truly the recipe for being successful in our industry, because it's just a lot of different hours.
Yes.
We are doing events. So when does events happen?
Yeah.
When other people are not working.
Definitely.
And then so not only are we executing the actual event, which is the grand finale of our planning and working with a couple, we're also working with our couples and doing post and in pre-production, which is usually during business hours. So there is just a lot of hours.
Lots.
And it's just a lot of hard work. But you know what? The way that I've been doing this for 22 years, so I see people come and go. The people who stay are the people who reinvent themselves, keep themselves fresh, and just truly just have – they didn't just fall into it. There's a love. There's like a calling.
There has to be a passion.
There has to be a passion. So your first thing that you said to us, and you probably don't even realize it, is you didn't talk about the couples, which obviously you did after.
Yeah.
But it was your passion with the flowers.
Yeah.
It's just something about working with
nature. It really is.
Grounding.
It's plants too. It's all of it. It's just really grounding and something that I really value and love watching grow. No pun intended.
Yes.
But yeah, bringing that to life and that creative side of the design is really important. And it's I value that as well. Just being able to be creative, being in the moment, and watching the designs come to life.
And, we do work with some couple, like happy couples. I mean, yes, occasionally we'll have something happen, but where some people may not be as happy as we want them to be.
Exactly.
I'm not talking about with us. I'm saying with their relationship.
With anything, yeah.
But ultimately, remember what we're doing. I mean, for those listeners, I mean, it's a really wild job and career. I mean, we are working with you all, and you just are in love, and you're happy.
Yeah, it's the most important day
and you're getting married, and so that's why I do it. I just love.
I know. It's so funny because in my previous career, I always say, like, I had some of that happiness, but there was a lot of the challenging times. And, when I worked with adults and parents. So coming to like being involved in the happiest day for couples is just brings energy.
And that's the thing too, is that when that rare seed comes your way and it is a harder client to work with, sometimes, at least where I'm at, sometimes I can easily talk them off of a ledge.
Same.
Because I just remind them of, for them, listen, guys, you guys are doing this. This is, how many times are you riding in your car and you're thinking about your wedding and you're gripping your steering wheel?
It's like a full-time job.
Like really tightly. Yes. We get it. But ultimately, you got to reset your brain and you just got to realize that one of the reasons why you're listening to this is you're getting married, or someone's getting married, and it's just fun, happy,
like energy. You want to bring joy to your day.
So what about somebody, right, who has this vision and they're looking for a florist? What is your advice to them?
Yeah, no matter where you live, looking for a florist for your wedding day is really important. They're bringing your vision, how you're thinking about your day to life. So you want to make sure you do research, really going on their website, their Instagram, like looking at their flowers. Does that match what you're looking for? Do the way they design, because each florist is different, even though we're all working with the same flowers. Sometimes we all have a different way of putting the vision together. So you want to make sure that you've done your work ahead of time and you're not just reaching out to the list of florists that someone might recommend to you, but you're really doing your research and saying, this matches what I'm looking for. And then the personalities. Do our personalities match? That's very important in your planning process as well. You want to make sure that we're connected, that we understand, or that your florist understands what you're looking for.
How do you recommend someone does their research?
I love Instagram. I do that for my own growing, and I'm on Instagram looking at florists all around the world and looking at design. So as a bride, as a mother of the bride, someone looking for a florist, really going to looking at Instagram, looking at other social media sites, looking at what's being posted, what's being tagged, what is your vision, even a Pinterest, looking at your Pinterest board, where are you finding florals that kind of match what you're looking for.
The other thing is people have to be careful of Instagram too and social media. I always say when someone's busy, and which are what the talented ones are, right?
Yeah.
They may not have time to grow their Instagram or put as much that they're doing on there at the moment.
Very true. Yeah. Right. I have a ton that I've not posted yet.
Right.
Yep.
So, I think people need to understand that that's a great place to start your research and start what you like.
Yes.
But I think the other thing is like you said, talking with the florist.
Oh yeah.
But also too, talking with the venue or vendors, see if they've heard about these people.
Yeah.
You're not looking for people to say anything negative or positive. Just you want to hear what they have to say to see if it's a match.
Exactly.
Because,
I love that. Yeah.
Because I just I'm just saying that for me, for example, personally, I'm on Instagram, I'm on there, but I don't have time to. That's a full-time job, right?
Is.
But you still have to stay fresh.
Yeah,
right.
Definitely.
So I just think it's interesting.
Yeah, then you could see how they work together, because I've definitely have other vendors that we've worked well with each other. So you're a team supporting a couple on that day, and you want to make sure that the team of vendors is really working well together. So that's a great idea. Great
and looking
point.
at reviews, and then for the people who have already been married or are getting married, just making sure you write those reviews afterwards.
Yes.
Because we talk about this a lot. I just asked Christine, how does one find a florist? And she said, look around Instagram and talk to people and reviews, but just write those reviews for us.
Yeah, they're hugely important.
Yeah.
Hugely important as to, growing your business and growing as a florist. And when other people are looking, when you're looking at reviews, you want to make sure that, what other couples are saying matches also what you're looking for.
Bingo. That's what I mean. That's what I meant by the Instagram.
Yeah.
You could see this beautiful Instagram account, but is there substance behind it?
That's why it has to be both things.
It has to be both. And that's all I was saying. I was saying basically be careful.
I agree.
Of the visuals. Make sure that those visuals are it's a good starting place is all I'm saying. But there has to be a total package because remember, you are ultimately working with them and it's only one day. So there's no redo.
No. There
right?
is not.
So the other thing is too, is I always tell people, and correct me if you think I'm wrong, or if you want to add something, is you also are planning a wedding. It could be a full-time job. So you need to know when you found it and move on.
Yes.
So once you feel like you've had a connection and they check all the boxes, that's it.
Yep.
Sign the contract, move on, start working with them.
Exactly. Yeah, that's so important. Because going back and forth and it's just it's time consuming on your end. So I always say create your checklist of what you need to get done. Getting one of the wedding planning books, just with here's the vendors I need to connect with, and then let them do their job. We do this all the time, every weekend. So we are full of knowledge, know what to do. So trusting in your vendors is really important.
So Christine, for those who are getting married or know someone getting married, so they found their florist. They found their dream florist, right?
Yay.
How do they prepare and what do they need to know to start working and meeting with you? I mean, because literally, think about it. They have no clue.
Yeah.
You guys have no clue, hence why you're listening to us, right?
Yeah. So I always say, at least think about beforehand. I like my couples to come up with 3 words to describe their wedding. They start there. What do you want your wedding to feel? What do you want your guests to feel when they walk into your ceremony?
Ooh, I like that.
Right? What's the energy you want to bring? And then from that, kind of looking, finding pictures. I know a lot of florists will ask for Pinterest boards or to get some of that inspiration. A lot of the time we have brides that come with Pinterest boards, and that's wonderful. And then sometimes we have couples that come with 1 picture and the 3 words, and that's okay. And I like to let couples know that. You don't need to have a full board with everything you want listed out. It's okay to come with 1 picture and a vision for your day, and that's our job, to put together a proposal. When you're looking for a florist, you want to have someone that's going to put a vision together for you to save yourself time too. We have some great ideas on time of year, florals, what florals can work together to match exactly what you're looking for.
Can you myth bust me for a second? Greenery.
Yeah.
Plants.
Yeah.
First flowers. First budget.
Yeah.
Is the greenery and the plants less expensive or more expensive
plants?
than flowers?
No, because plants are expensive in and of itself. So I would say when people say that, I want plants on all their tables, it is not cheaper. And it depends which ones, and it depends flowers. There's flowers that are very expensive and flowers that are more inexpensive. So depending what vision you have and what you want the texture and feel of your arrangements to look like depends on kind of the cost piece. But adding greenery does bring cost down versus someone that says, I want no greenery and I want all big, beautiful flowers. That's going to cost more.
Right. The only reason why I ask is it's kind of funny because I was joking around with a florist that I was working with, that Dan and I were working with a few weekends ago at the lovely Dunes Club. I just love that venue. For those who are local, it's a great. It's private, but you could have your wedding. There's ways around
beautiful
it.
Waterfront.
Yeah, but I was laughing at him because the room is definitely, and I'm sure you probably tell a lot of your clientele this, that you have to kind of work with your room.
Yes,
you can't work against it.
Nope,
that's your room. But it's the room is definitely has a look. There's definitely a color in there. Mm-hmm. It's actually green.
Yep.
That if that's not in your color palette, that's a tough thing. Okay.
Yes.
But I've seen people work with it, right? You can lean into it and great, have green in your colors and have this greenery. Yeah. Or I was laughing because I was talking to this florist and he literally was. I was like, did you bring the floor the forest with you? When I tell you he was bringing trees after trees after trees, it was part of his install.
Yeah,
because he was working with a green. Yeah, and so what they did is it was beautiful. It was a beautiful setup. They didn't just have florals. He installed he brought big, tall trees and shrubberies and plants, and that was what was around the room. And I was just laughing because I was like, did you bring the whole florist with you? But needless to say, I was looking, I'm like, that's a good, pretty penny.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's not cheap.
Yeah.
Not at all. So, yeah, it just kind of depends. So doing your research or contacting a florist in your area, someone you're interested in working with, and really figuring that out together. Understanding your budget, knowing your budget, and then what you want your vision to be is important, and figuring all that out.
So for somebody to go on Pinterest, go on Instagram, and bring everything to the meeting, that's super helpful for you.
It is. It is. But like I said, even if they have 3 words, couple pictures, we like that too, because then we can kind of really build the vision board on what florals, what would work, and how to bring that to life. And
what drives cost in the floral industry?
So flowers are expensive.
Yeah, because the only reason why I say that is so I'm thinking about it. If I'm a couple getting married, I'm at the meeting now. So I have my words for you.
Yeah.
I have my Instagram pictures, my Pinterest picture, and I'm showing it to you. And you're hoping that I have this great budget, this enormous budget, which great. You have that done. Moving on, you can just design.
Yeah.
But what about some people who are like, I got to figure out how much it's going to cost. And so therefore maybe I can do more, or I have to reel myself back in. What's the driving forces here now?
So, I'll kind of backstep that and just say, that's the importance of an initial consultation with your florist, and how important that is to have that conversation. Here's my number. Here's what I want to be around, or here's an idea of where I'd like to be. Here's my vision. Does that work? And then we can say, okay, we really, you love this palette of beautiful white peony, but you need to keep your budget a little bit lower. Here's a flower we would recommend.
So it's the act. Sometimes I totally interrupted you, but sometimes it's the actual floral.
It is.
So that's driving budget number 1.
Yeah, it can be the actual floral. It can be the number of designs, number of guests that you have. So you have a wedding of 100 people versus 200. That's a significant difference as well.
Yes, because it's more centerpieces.
Okay.
And then obviously then it's your time.
Yep.
Right?
Oh, absolutely.
So those are kind of the driving forces.
Oh, yeah. Time and floral prep, floral design takes days, hours. I have a team that just gets the flowers and preps them. That's an entire day to 2 days of work.
And that's the team too. Like you said,
it's not just one person alone.
If you have a larger wedding, more people, more hands on deck.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is we'll take a break, and then when we get back, we'll talk about trends. And speaking of team and prepping, you just did a event this past summer.
Yes, we did.
Why don't you tell the listeners what event you did this past summer?
We just did the florals for the engagement party of Olivia Culpo and Christian McCafferty, which was a lot of fun to do with a awesome team and, working with a celebrity couple. It was a blast.
So what we'll do is we'll take a quick break, and when we get back, let's talk about that wedding.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's talk about some trends that you saw in that, and no, sorry, not wedding.
Engagement party.
Yep. Let's talk about some trends that you saw there versus some trends that you're seeing now that are new and cutting edge. And then I just want to talk a little bit more about some things that can help make the biggest impact too with florals.
Love it.
Perfect.
Sounds great.
I appreciate you being here. And hey, if you like what you're hearing, I encourage you to check out our website at sarazarella.com. And don't forget, you can actually subscribe to this podcast wherever you're listening so you never miss an episode. And I would so appreciate if you left a fabulous review on Apple Podcast. Even better, share it with a friend. It's a great way to show your support. And now, let's get back to the episode. All right, well, welcome back to Wedding Secrets Unveiled podcast, friends. So, Christine, before the break, we were talking a little bit about, how to choose the right florist, right?
Yes.
And how to prepare to work with that florist. But now I want to get into trends. Hit us up. What is happening out there in the floral world?
Color. I'm telling you. So we were in a world of whites and greenery for a long time, and we're still there. It's classic feel, but we're seeing a lot of color happening. The bright springs, the pops. People want to feel like happiness and bright and cheerful on their wedding day. They want their guests to feel that energy. So we see a lot of color coming back.
It's so funny, Christine, that you'd say color. Okay, so for the listeners out there, just do me a favor and send me a message. Hit me up on Instagram. Let me know if you think I'm right or wrong here. But go back into my episodes, like 2 years ago during the pandemic. I predicted this. So everybody just prove me wrong. Try to prove me wrong, but you'll find out on a lot of the episodes in the beginning when I was doing this, I was saying to people,
yeah.
Now, like you said, the blushes and the whites, that will always be style. It's always.
Timeless, classic.
Timeless.
Yeah.
Done.
Agreed.
Classic. But people were doing a lot of boho. They were doing a lot of, barn.
Yes.
Yep. Burlap, barn, boho. A lot of muted colors.
A lot of pompous. Mm-hmm. That's kind of going out.
And people were, even with the editing, editing their pictures dark and moody.
Mm-hmm.
Which is great. I mean, I love it.
I love it, too.
I love it.
I just posted a beautiful moody shot.
I mean, I love it. But I didn't go that trend. I always, for me, for my editing, and not that this show's about what Dan and I do, but I'm just
it's all tied together.
But I have to show you that I am a psychic. But I always so for us, been doing this for 22 years. I edit my pictures true to color. I'm very, very well aware of the trends, so I'll sway a little bit.
Yeah.
It used to be very saturated was the trend for editing. Then I went to light and airy. Then it's dark and moody. But that was during the COVID years.
Yes.
And I said to people, when we get out of this, we're going to want to feel happy.
Happy.
And I said, I'm like, this dark and moody editing is going to go. And the colors, you're going to see a major color pop. I said it on so many multiple episodes. So guys, go prove me wrong or prove me right, please, or give me a high five. And but I told you it's going to be colors.
Yeah.
I just knew it because we want to feel happy.
Yeah. I would say, remember how I always ask for those 3 words to describe your wedding. I will say my couples have said over and over they want their guests to feel happy, coming back together, celebrating, dancing, having fun, celebrating their love. Happiness is like the word across the board. And when you think happiness, it's like bright, cheerful, that kind of vibe coming into your day.
And honestly, like colors, believe it, there's a whole psychology of it.
Yeah.
We actually have a whole episode about just colors. We had someone talking about colors and what did it mean and what else brings happiness?
Yeah.
Like colors.
Yeah.
Colorful.
Yeah. Like a beautiful yellow, like ranunculus. It's just like, to me, like makes me smile.
Yeah.
So I think people want that. They want their guests to feel happy and smile when they're sitting down enjoying cocktails or dinner to celebrate their wedding.
What's your favorite color?
Oh, that's so hard.
I know, I just put
it's all in the pink family. I love a good pink. But when designing, I'm like a color wheel person now. Like my mom laughs at me because she was an art teacher, and she's like, remember, we learned all about the color wheel. Mm-hmm. And now I'm like, I study the color wheel because it helps me pull all the colors together.
Yeah.
And really like even brainstorm how different colors can work together.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in the pink family.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm a girly girl.
Yeah, pinks are the classic, the blushes and the whites. And like, listen, for those planning a wedding with the classics, we are not knocking you. Like that's a classic.
No, it's
that
beautiful.
Is a staple.
Yes.
In fact, you just did something with a little bit of
a trend.
Trend.
I did. So Olivia Culpo and Christian McCafferty got engaged recently, or I think this past spring they got engaged. And
this past summer you worked on
something. This past summer was their engagement party that we were happy to provide florals with. And the trend that we see coming now since then was that mauves. So kind of the blushes moving into the mauve family, going with the greenery. Going even like to a burgundy tone at times. That range is really a trend we see coming up a lot more. It's current. It's different. We enjoy doing it, working with different types of flowers in that color scheme, even some dyed florals to get to that unique mauve color. Yeah,
and especially too, for speaking of colors, it's definitely follow Pantone on Instagram if you haven't already.
Yep.
Not you, obviously.
Yeah,
I know
no,
but
yeah,
for our
I
listeners,
agree.
Follow that because obviously the Pantone color of the year drives a lot. But
Absolutely.
also, too, in general, Pantone, like you talked about the color wheel, for you, that's a no-brainer. You said your mom's an art teacher.
Yes.
But for people who are planning your wedding, just look at the color wheel. Go with Pantone. Look at what they're doing with the colors. But tell us a little bit about that event that you worked with and the last summer. What was the color scheme? What did you do to provide the services to bring her vision to light?
Yeah, so she came with, what she wanted her feel, her vibe to be that day, some colors to match that vision. And we pulled florals that we thought would bring that vision to life. So we pulled ranunculus, peony, different types of roses. We pulled in even dyed ranunculus to get really to that mauve color. Mm-hmm. Anthurium, which was spray painted a beautiful mauve pinkish tone. So really, bringing us a color palette like Olivia did, and then we're able to really search on our end to find florals that match that. So you definitely want a florist that's going to do that. It's going to find those colors and really look at how they work together. So we were able to do that for Olivia's and provide florals throughout on her centerpieces, at the bar area, on all her lounge furniture, cocktail hour, throughout the whole venue, all on her signs and tables around her little cocktail space to really bring that vision to life and carry that mauve palette throughout her party.
As far as the trends go right now, you said that the new trend is kind of going into the burgundies and the mauves, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think she started one. I have had 3 of my brides even change their palette to go with Olivia's and Christian's tones.
Yeah.
They were in that blush tone, and they're like, you know what? I want to go a little into the mauve family.
The mauve family.
Yeah, it's just a little different romantic feel.
What is a trend that you would love to see more of? Putting you on the spot right there, but what would you like to see? If you had, I know you said you're a pink girl, but just you don't have to even be something that you personally would do. Just in general, what have you seen that's really exciting to you, and you just wish you could do more of?
I love the color when you bring in the yellows and the pinks and the blue, a little bit of that mauve. I love to look at the color wheel with couples and say, okay, these would go together, and then something they wouldn't even think of, showing them how adding a color like a peach to that would just bring the whole arrangement to life.
I love that you said that because that gets me really excited right now. I don't know why. I'm just in this mode right now where if I'm photographing something that's just I want it to be a unique color set.
Yes,
that gets me excited.
Yeah.
Unique color set.
So I try to push, even if my couples come with I recently had a bride come to me with a white, greenery, and peach, just those colors.
Yeah.
So we talked about how if you brought in a couple, a blush to that, even a touch of the muted yellow, how that could kind of build a more texture, more dimensional floral arrangement by bringing in a little bit of even the light blue. So adding different colors and showing examples of how they would work together to, like I said, add more dimension to the wedding florals for your day. So
eucalyptus.
Yes.
Let's talk about that for a second.
Going in the trend world to not the trend world.
Yeah.
Because it was a trend.
Yeah. Talk to me about that.
I have a lot of brides saying no more. We're done. We're sick of it.
So that's what I was going to ask you. That was super trend.
Super trendy.
It's out or it's starting to fade out?
I think it's fading.
Okay.
I have a lot of couples being like, okay, what are our alternatives to eucalyptus? And there's tons.
So
you
what
wouldn't
are
even
they?
realize. We use a lot of ruscus, which has a little of a darker tone.
Is that a red, it has a red tone in it a little bit? No, am I thinking about the wrong one?
Maybe. It's
more
more
like a
bright
tone.
green.
Okay, no.
Yeah, it's a brighter tone.
Okay.
Then Nagy, which is have a little darker hint to it. Olive would be another one. And that same olive.
I love olive.
Yes. And when you get a good olive branch, you have olives on it.
Yes.
Which just makes a huge difference. Fresh, and it just adds that kind of Italian vibe.
I did olive. I did
European.
olive for my wedding. Was I wanted Mediterranean.
Yeah.
But you don't have to it doesn't, like you said, it doesn't have to be that Mediterranean vibe, but it's just all of that color, that it's just pretty.
Yeah.
Pretty green.
There's so many alternatives that you can use. Eucalyptus doesn't have to be in all of your arrangements. We are doing tons now with just different types of
And also,
greens.
too, talking about trends, though, eucalyptus is muted. It's a muted green.
Yes.
So that made sense, right,
Yep.
when we were dealing with more of the
Yep.
muted palettes. But if you want some pop, that's not going to be
Yeah.
it.
And then there's like so many different types of eucalyptus that I'll bring to floral meetings that couples don't even realize is eucalyptus.
Oh.
So that also adds to like something different, not your typical like silver dollars, the rounded eucalyptus. You can have different kinds that have different tones to them and different shapes.
So, you just talked about how you'll bring something to a meeting that people don't even realize is a certain plant. I mean, even we were talking about plants right there. I don't know, obviously, all the plants like you do. You're a plant girl shop, right? So for somebody who knows they want to make an impact at their wedding, but they just don't know how, like what's some impactful like displays, or how can they use florals to make the biggest impact on someone's wedding?
So Olivia and Christian did it in their tent. We hung greenery across their entire tent on the ceiling. And it was not too much in your face, but it was just enough to add that dimension and feel across their tent. So we highly recommend adding just that vining greenery that creates a really romantic feel at the venue, at the reception space. We've also done hanging florals, like suspension pieces.
Funny,
out of control.
Yes, you just took the words out of my mouth. I literally was like, Christine, talk to me about hanging right now.
It is just the best and a really big trend in 2024 weddings. We have a good amount of them coming. And if you have a tent or you have a way within your venue to hang florals, it just really makes an impact. Your guests walk in and it's like a wow factor. It's like,
it is wow, because you know what it is? It's wow because you look at florals down. Yes. Right? Because it's earth. It's from the earth.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So to see something in the air, it's just different.
Yeah.
It tricks your mind.
Exactly.
Definitely something that's going – okay, here we go. Here's my psychic ability.
Oh, yes.
It is going to come in
it
hot.
Is.
It's going to be a wow. If you're listening, start thinking about this, but it's also going to leave because it's going to be such a trend.
It is.
But something else is going to evolve from it, and I don't know what it's going to be yet. But I love myself a hanging installation of flowers.
And a lot of people feel like, it is expensive, but it doesn't have to be beyond imaginable. You could have a smaller hanging suspension piece that isn't, going to wipe out your budget. So I think, some people get scared when we say suspension hanging florals, but it doesn't have to be. There's different ways you can work it, coming from different lights, chandeliers, definitely different ways, but it does make a big impact on your day. And you can kind of keep your other centerpieces more subdued because you have a big focal point for your wedding.
And the thing is, though, too, I just, like, for example, when I'm designing my sets for my photo sessions, the other day I did a photo session where, well, it wasn't even the other day. Time flies so much. But anyway, it was during the spring, and I was tying individual stems, flowers to fish twine so that way you couldn't see it.
Yep.
Took me forever.
It is.
So that's why the price drives up. I mean, you think like, it's not a design.
It's
just
hanging
just
upside down.
Oh,
no. God. It is extremely time consuming. When we have done them, we're at the venue as early as we can get there in the morning. The sun is rising and we're, starting to hang the suspension pieces. So it is really time consuming. A lot of staff need to be on site to make it happen. But it's just something we love to do.
You know what, though? You said something, too, that's interesting is that you just said we're there as early as we can. I don't think that people fully realize, unless you've already done an event or been part of an event of planning, they look at flowers, right?
Yep.
They think it's created in your shop, and you just bring it.
Yeah, like some we do.
Well, of course. But the whole creating process, I don't think that people realize how much time goes into that arrangement or the installation. I mean, of course, sometimes, like you said, like I literally see florists show up, they dump their flowers on the pieces, and they leave. But so you think it's just
quick and easy.
Quick and easy. But that was created somewhere.
Oh, absolutely. And it took a long time.
Yeah, and sometimes I see florists and they're like, they're setting up in the day. Then I see them all of a sudden at the church. Then I see them at the reception. Yes. And then I see them at the end of the night collecting their vases. I'm like, wow, you've been here all day just like me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it's it's hard work. I will say, coming from a different industry where I wasn't lifting and moving as much, it's a challenge on your body. It is definitely a challenge. And I'm one that I own the company, but yet I'm not shy of I've done all the things. So lifting, moving things, all of it, I, take part in and get my hands dirty in all of that work. And it's rough, but we still love it.
No,
so it's great. I love it. It's like, but it's still seeing it come to life. It's worth every ache to see that beauty come alive.
Well, I was about to tell you is that what you're saying, at least for everybody out there listening, if you haven't worked with Christine, definitely think about if you're local, because I could tell you that resonates with your team. I know people on your team,
yes,
and they love it.
Yeah.
They're not burnt out. They love it.
No, I know.
It's there.
Yeah.
There's magic happening,
yes,
my friends.
Yes. We love the energy. We love it all. So when you meet us, you definitely feel that, every one of our team members, for sure. Absolutely.
Well, Christine, I could talk to you all day. But,
Same.
I know. But it's time we wrap this up.
Okay.
So with our wrap-up question, what are some key points that couples should be asking their floral company when they are inquiring to make sure that they are working with a professional company to ensure that their wedding day is an absolute perfect event?
Great question. So number one, ensuring that your florist is organized. Making sure that your florist really understands the vision and what you're looking for on your wedding day, the most important day of your life as a couple. Number three would be communicating with you, communicating what's going on, where you are in the planning process, what the exact day is going to look like, and then finally bringing your vision to life and that you have a team that's excited to do that. So that would be like my main pieces of ensuring you have the best florist for your wedding. Organization is key, knowing that, all the pieces are put together. There's a proposal that is organized, fine-tuned, florals are picked out. You feel like nothing's going to be forgotten. Your wedding day will be exactly how you discussed it, how you planned it. That vision will really come to life. And that you have a team behind it that's super excited, that knows you as a couple, that wants to bring your vision, to life, wants to make your florals the dream that you are looking for.
Well, thank you so much for joining me on this week's episode of Wedding Secrets Unveiled.
Yay. Thank you for having me again.
I'm so happy to have you in front of me. But you've helped our listeners become one step closer to their journey of a stress-free wedding planning. Can you tell everybody where they could find you?
Yeah, we are, our website's www.plantgirlshop.com. We're also on Instagram, plant.girl.shop. We love helping couples, even if you're outside the area. You have a question, an idea, anything, shoot us a message. We're pretty quick to respond on our platforms. And we love to hear from couples all over with their ideas, thoughts, different trends they think might be coming as well.
For our listeners, I will also have Christine's information on our episode show notes, which you can find on our blog and our website page, which is at sarazarella.com/podcast. Thank you for listening to Wedding Secrets Unveiled. I appreciate you being here. And hey, if you enjoyed this episode, I want to tell you something. I encourage you to check out our website at sarazarella.com. We love photographing while having fun, of course. Check out our podcast page on our website for our show notes, along with upcoming episodes with your local wedding experts. Listen in as we help you plan your epic event. And don't forget that you can actually subscribe to this podcast wherever you are listening so you never miss an episode. I would so appreciate if you left a review for us on Apple Podcasts. Even better, share it with a friend. It's a great way to show your support and let us know what you think. If you know any wedding experts that would like to be a guest, We have a link directly on our website where they can let us know. Thank you for listening.